Right now on the National Weather Desk, flash flooding. Heavy rains trigger flooding across portions of the South.
Water filled the street. In some areas, it rose to the doors.
Historic heat. As the mercury climbs well into the triple digits, California will experience an unusual weather reality.
A 60-degree differential in temperature from the coast to only 25 miles inland.
While the water along Florida's beaches feels more like a bath than the ocean.
Temperatures in the water have been about 5 degrees above normal.
And the search is on for a surfboard stealing sea otter that's since gone viral.
It's taken a bite out of surfboards and caused panic in the water.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. These images you're about to see tell the story right here, capturing flash flooding in western Alabama after a foot of rain fell. You're looking at video of Interstate 2059 from yesterday right here. The interstate, though, back open this morning. Many families, though, are still cleaning up. Heavy rain flooding homes, other people trapped inside of their houses. We sent Aaron Wise to one of the worst hit areas in Sumter County.
Video captured by a neighbor shows what people along this road saw. Water filled the street. In some areas, it rose to the doors. One home saw damage inside. People living here tell me a lot of items were swept away into the nearby creek. Even storage sheds were moved. Neighbors say they were scared and fearful for each other. Many people along Booth Street are related. Now they are focusing on cleaning and repairing what they can and making sure this doesn't happen again.
My concern is trying to get the roads repaired so that we'll have passable streets for the citizens. I don't want to see anyone fall in and get hurt. We need resources where we can get in here, clean out these trenches, clean out these here roadways and everything, so the water, when it do come, it'll be passable. It will not back up and cause people to be trapped in their homes.
That same system setting off flooding in Mississippi, leaving streets, as you can see here, and buildings flooded in the town of Ackerman. And in Louisville, Mississippi, the manager of a Dollar General store had to be rescued by a coworker after the high water stranded her in the store. You can see all that water. Now to West Virginia, where strong winds and heavy rain left damage behind. The winds blew away several tents of the Putnam County Fair, forcing officials to cancel it yesterday. And a tornado touched down in a suburb of Ottawa, Canada. Over 100 homes were damaged and trees knocked down. One person suffered minor injuries, and the flooding risk is not over. There are two major areas that we are really watching out for. One is in Mississippi, which had those floods yesterday. The other is in Vermont and New York, which are still recovering from floods earlier this week. And then there's the heat. 1/3 of all Americans are under a heat alert today. It was so hot, I-44 in Missouri buckled. You can see it here, but that's nothing compared to what's coming out west. Meteorologist Miles Muzio explains.
It is hot. We got the heat flag flying right here for Central California. And temperatures this week, and according to the computer models, really hot. Look at the Saturday temperature right here. Now, it does cool off a little bit at night, down into the 70s, but look at Sunday. The models are going to be crazy high, up to around 119 degrees. But along the coast, because of a thing called upwelling, where water is pulled up from the cool bottom, temperatures are going to be in the 60s there, and even 50-degree temperatures in some spots. So we will have a 60-degree differential in temperature from the coast to only 25 miles inland. Crazy stuff.
Wow. Florida is also feeling the side effects of intense heat. The waters off the coast of Florida are heating up, impacting coral reefs and also the weather. Meteorologist Jennifer Collins explains.
Water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico are running abnormally warm so far this summer. On Wednesday, a 98.1 degree temperature reading was taken in very shallow water along the coast of Florida in the Everglades National Park. Now, while this is an eye-catching temperature, temperatures in the water have been about 5 degrees above normal for this time of the year in this part of the Gulf of Mexico. And it's important to pay attention to sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico, as it can have an influence influence on marine life, coral reefs, and of course weather patterns. This includes high temperatures, nighttime lows, afternoon sea breezes, and of course the intensity of tropical systems which thrive on warm water. If the water is hotter at the surface, that means there's more fuel for storms to tap into.
Now, we've been telling you about this. Several dams and lakes in California are full, a direct result of all that snow that fell earlier this year. Now, officials are releasing some of the water at one dam. Isha Padilla shows us what this all looks like.
We've seen releases from Friant Dam, but not often like this. Over the top.
This is a good wet year.
Michael Jackson with the Bureau of Reclamation says there's 50 to 100 cubic feet per second of water now flowing over Friant Dam into the San Joaquin River. That's the equivalent of 50 to 100 basketballs every second. Then there's the 3,500 cubic feet per second released from the bottom of the dam.
The snowpack we had this year was like the third wettest on record, so that this late in the year for how much water we have is unusual in that regard. In July, to have this much water still going out through the dam and having still about 350,000 acre feet still upstream, that is unusual.
While it is a visual spectacle, Jackson calls it a substantial win for local farmers and cities.
It's allowed them to really recover their groundwater basins that got depleted during the drier times that we're facing just the past 5 years or so. So this is really great on helping with their groundwater recharge.
And for those looking to keep cool at Millerton Lake in the extreme heat.
Lake is full, great for boaters, great for skiers, great for fishing, all that stuff is great. But we still need to be careful around the river because we still got a lot of water moving through.
Well, it was this time last year that we saw the first set of breathtaking images from the James Webb Space Telescope, NASA's largest and most powerful space telescope. Emily Gracie sat down with a NASA expert to find out about these latest images released from Webb and what's next for deep space exploration.
So this is a stellar nursery, a place where new stars are forming. It's called Rho Ophiuchi. It's the closest star-forming region to us here on Earth at about 400 light years away. And so we see lots of detail about the way that stars form. Some of them are able to light up their surroundings, sending out jets of material that you see in some of that bright red light. And other places, those new stars are so deeply embedded in the cocoons where they form, it looks dark. The light isn't even getting out, even with the power of Webb.
But can you go over in the past year what have been like the biggest accomplishments of Webb?
Sure. There's so many, it's sometimes hard to choose, but one that I do think about a lot is our understanding of galaxies, how they form and how they change. Galaxies contain hundreds of billions of stars, and we've been able to look at some of the very earliest galaxies in the universe. And something that we're discovering is that they appeared very early in the universe and grew very quickly. And so that's something that we need to understand better about our own universe.
What's next for the future of looking into space, really deep into space? Can Webb continue to tell us more, or is there going to be a new development of a new telescope that's going to go even deeper into time?
Both of those things are true. So we're really looking forward to the next year and the coming years with Webb. We've already got the plan for science across the whole range of the universe, not only those galaxies and new stars, but also studying exoplanets, planets around stars other than our own sun that will be able to make detailed measurements of their atmospheres. We're already discussing a future telescope that would really be able to detect those signatures of life.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Take off. Don't you just love a good takeoff? India has successfully launched its third mission to the moon. The probe took off early Friday morning. If all goes according to plan, on August 23rd, it will be the fourth country to land on the moon, and it would be the first to do so on the moon's unexplored South Pole. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, it's tick season. Why the weather could make this season even more dangerous. And a look at how the weather is costing you more money.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. More unsettled weather is in the forecast in the Northeast in the coming days. Our greatest chance for getting some solid downpours this afternoon will be in New England. Notice many areas in the 70s and 80s. We're actually brightest over western parts of the area, New York, Vermont, western parts of Massachusetts. Saturday is the best part of the weekend in the Northeast. Temps in the 80s to around 90. We'll have elevated humidity. I can't rule out a shower here. More rain, heavy at times, moves in on Sunday.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Up and down the 95 corridor to start. Could have a few showers and maybe a rumble. Lower Delmarva down to the Tidewater of Virginia should clear by noon, but more showers and thunderstorms could pop as our latest weather maker hangs around in the afternoon. And with a few more clouds, too, it looks like temperatures may fail to hit 90 in a lot of spots. 88 in Baltimore, 89 at Richmond, 87 in Philly. That's the scene here.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. We're looking at Raleigh, about 90 degrees, a hot one, as well as Charleston, 90. 90 in Atlanta, 92 in Nashville, about 87 in Pensacola, Tampa, 94 degrees. We're looking at sun and clouds out there. Heat index numbers will be in the low 100s. Few spotty showers and thunderstorms up around Raleigh, down in Pensacola. As we go through the day, we'll see sun and clouds, but pop-up showers from Nashville through Birmingham and South Florida, getting some rain here and there as we see thunderstorm activity.
Watching the National Weather Desk.
We are now in the middle of tick season. This year, the East Coast and Northeast are seeing more activity. One reason? The weather. Charleston, West Virginia meteorologist Brandon Stover takes a closer look at some of the dangers ticks pose and how you can protect yourself.
The warm season is here, and that means the critters are out. Bigger ones may stand out the most, but it's the smallest ones, like ticks, that deserve most of our attention.
They cannot fly and they cannot jump. They climb up on the vegetation and they just kind of wait there for an animal to pass by, and then they grasp onto that animal.
Blood is what they are looking for. Ticks are parasites and are closely related to spiders. After our mild winter, their numbers appear higher. The main concern with ticks is their ability to transmit disease.
Lyme disease is carried by the deer tick, also known as the black-legged tick. It's here in West Virginia. It's not real common, but it does occur.
And the Lone Star tick, also found here, can lead to a bizarre side effect in some people.
It can cause a meat allergy. Ticks cannot transmit disease by simply walking across your body. The tick actually has to be embedded for about 24 hours or more before it can transmit a disease, if indeed it has a disease to transmit.
That's better news, and this also means you can take action to lower the risk, like taking a shower and inspecting yourself after being outdoors.
Ticks require real dense, brushy areas. They require high humidity. They don't like direct sunlight. Stay in the middle of the trail if you can. It's a good idea to wear light-colored clothing. You can use DEET products as a repellent.
If you see one on your skin, remove it as soon as possible.
You are supposed to get tweezers and grasp the tick as close to the skin as possible, and then slowly and steadily pull upward to remove the tick. If you feel like the tick has been there over 24 hours, it's a good idea to consult with your family physician.
On the other side of the country, it's not ticks causing a problem, but sea otters. One sea otter, to be exact. This otter is harassing surfers, apparently, and stealing boards in Santa Cruz. Rich Rodriguez is diving into why the otter is attacking and what local officials plan to do about it.
This sea otter has been on a tear in Santa Cruz for 3 weeks. It's taken a bite out of surfboards and caused panic in the water. Mark Woodward is a lifelong Santa Cruz resident.
Just in the past 5 days now, there's been 3 more incidents of him getting boards, and those have been much more aggressive and have left all 3 of those surfers very shaken.
Woodward learned from Monterey Bay Aquarium that the sea otter was born in captivity 5 years ago. It has a monitoring device to track it. It hasn't caused any major problems since being released until a month ago.
I saw this otter trying to get on a board, and at first, I thought it was cute, unique, and I thought it was a novelty.
As you can see by the bite marks on the surfboards, a sea otter has a strong jaw and teeth that can crush tough shells. Its bite has up to 80 pounds of force. After 4 attacks on surfers and staking claim to their boards, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife and Monterey Bay Aquarium will try to capture it.
They don't know what her problem is, if it's a medical issue, if it's a behavioral issue.
U.S. Fish and Wildlife officials say the otter's behavior is highly unusual. It adds, aggressive behavior in female southern sea otters may be associated with hormonal surges or due to being fed by people. If captured, it will wind up in a long-term home.
This weekend promises lots of fun, depending on where you live, of course, from juicy peaches in Oklahoma to a huge festival that spans dozens of places in Tennessee. Here's how the weather could shake things up.
One of the Tri-Cities' biggest summer parties begins Friday. Kingsport's Fun Fest runs from July 14th through the 22nd. This annual festival includes concerts, sporting events, block parties, and more. And it's comprised of more than 100 events in 60 locations. Hot air balloons fill the air on the final day, and the party kicks off with a big parade Friday starting at 6:30.
Well, this upcoming weekend is the 57th annual Porter Peach Festival held in the town of Porter, Oklahoma. It celebrates the agricultural legacy in that town, and I heard the weather was just perfect, so now there's an abundance of peaches. On Friday, we have the Taste of Haven Culinary Contest, a gymnastics performance, street games, and live music. We'll have a chance of rain Friday morning, and then rain will push right back in the evening, temperatures topping out in the mid-90s. Saturday, you can find a 5K, a car show, but the most important thing is at 1:30 p.m. there'll be free peaches and ice cream, so make sure to check on that. Rain should end mid to late morning on Saturday. Temperatures topping out just a little bit cooler in the low 90s. Should be a fun, eventful weekend in Porter, Oklahoma.
Well, if you are in the Rhode Island area and plan to head to the beach, be careful. Dangerous Portuguese man-o-wars have been washing up on local beaches. Gabriela Garciola has more on why it's creating such a problem for residents and also visitors.
The Portuguese man-of-war is back in Rhode Island. The dangerous sea creature spotted at several beaches this week.
If you see one on the beach, don't touch it, don't pick it up.
The man-of-war is not a jellyfish, but closely related. It can be recognized by its balloon-like float and long, venomous tentacles that can be up to 30 feet long.
Those tentacles do not have to be attached to the body for them to still pack a sting. And so that's really probably the worst part about them.
Its sting is painful, causing welts on exposed skin, but rarely deadly.
If you get stung by a Portuguese man-o-war, it is going to hurt. There's no way around it.
The Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management says if you think you found a Portuguese man-of-war, don't touch it. Instead, find a lifeguard or the nearest employee and let them know. They've handled one sting so far at state beaches and say all lifeguard stations are equipped to help.
All of our chairs, our lifeguards have bottles of vinegar now. which is the best way to neutralize the sting as soon as you get stung.
Regulars on the sand and in the surf at Roger Wheeler State Beach say they aren't too concerned.
I'm not worried. We've traveled a lot, and we've actually come across manwar when we were in Hawaii as well on the beach. So I think they're pretty common. Not around here, I would say.
I like the water. We like the ocean. We grew up here. So I just keep my eyes open.
We don't scare easy.
We are traveling from the beaches of the East Coast to the Great Lakes in the Midwest. Take a look at this newly discovered shipwreck in Lake Superior. This tugboat is called the Satellite. It sank on June 21st, 1879 in about 300 feet of water. The Great Lakes Shipwreck Historical Society announced the discovery. And before we take a short break, let's take a look from the sky at the waters as we fly over Renard Island in Green Bay.
Well, a very good Friday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. Scattered showers and storms across the Midwest for the day today. We're going to have some high temperatures getting into the 90s to the south, even up in Minneapolis getting into the 90s today. Now that rain kind of coincides together and comes together over the Ohio Valley for the day tomorrow. And on Sunday, a lot of the Midwest stays dry. We got a few showers and storms popping up in the plains.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. We're starting off a little warm down to the south, but cooler as we see some rain-cooled temperatures up into Amarillo. Got a little bit of a low pressure there. That'll help bring in a few more showers, but it'll gradually fade out today as a little bit of a cool front drops in. And yes, they could see cooler temperatures to the north, but down south, it's another triple-digit day. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia, and that's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there in TGIF, everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Here comes the big heat over the desert southwest, and it's starting to blossom and grow, extending into Reno at 98 later today, 113 a sizzler out of Vegas, 90s all the way into Spokane and Boise as well. Chance for a few thunderstorms as this big weather maker, this big area of high pressure grows in strength over Nevada and California today. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Intense rain this morning triggered flash flooding in eastern Mississippi and western Alabama. Close to a foot of rain fell on the region. Flooding was reported in many counties and over highways, including here along the I-59, I-20 overlap. Meanwhile, the same system that spawned tornadoes in Chicago last night also caused damage in southern Michigan. Debris from a damaged storage facility blew into a farm field.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
The weather is getting more expensive. What that means is that each year, the number of billion-dollar weather-related disasters is increasing. Meteorologist Garrett Hyde has more.
Each year since about 1980 all the way up to today, we have seen a notable increase in the overall amount of billion-dollar severe events and severe storms, at least since 1980, right around, nothing to 2, upwards of almost 12 or so here within recent years. But at least this year alone, so far we have seen over around 12 events, and that encompasses everything from drought and heat waves all the way to winter weather and wildfires.
And we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Just search the National Weather Desk. You're looking at it right there on your screen. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. Monday on the National Weather Desk, we'll look at how the intense heat in the South is impacting local wildlife as well as zoo animals. I'm Angela Brown. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you right back here next week.